look, Kylian Mbappe knows his money is safe. If you like on the bench, if you like leaving my hotel room, it's fine. So that was happened there, and then PSG also losing Neymar. In fact, not losing Neymar because Luis Enrique categorically told Neymar that, you are not part of my plans this year. So Saudi Arabia said, well, Neymar, you are part of our plans
Pack
this
your
year.
bags and
When Neymar saw the money like this, that he couldn't press in calculator.
Saudi money.
My dear, my brother has packed his bag. So there's agreement, arrangements going on right now.
Yeah.
We'll hear if it's been finalized or if there's been a turnaround. But so far, yes.
No, even
Saudi Arabia and Neymar, they are wooing each other. They are chatting now.
If you think if Saudi Arabia had called, even at this stage that it's been a long lace my boots, if Saudi would wink at my direction now, you think I would not lace my boots?
What are you talking about? We'll be gone in a second. So those are the things that have happened this weekend. We're talking about that. We're talking about women's football.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what happened in tennis, and this week is Cincinnati, so we're covering all that. And then we'll be talking some Tobi and Amusan news, seeing as the World Championships is just literally a few days away. So let's tell us, how can we be part of this show, Omat?
To be part of the conversation in the locker room will be on 0809 444 0981. Once again, 0809 444 0981. And you can also be part of it on YouTube also. Search for us. You find us there, hashtag locker room.
Yeah.
So let's see. Tega, on the menu this morning in the locker room would be Tobi Amusan, not cleared of doping, says the World Athletics. And then Anthony Joshua with brutal knockout of Elenius. And then Yannick Sinner and Jessica Pegula win titles with straight set victories. Then Klopp takes positives from Liverpool's season opening draw at Chelsea. Then Militao to undergo knee surgery after ACL tear. Then also Australia Prime Minister backs calls for public holiday if Matildas win the World Cup. As Enrique Ten Hag says, defender must prove he's top class or must leave Man United. And Harry Kane, Bayern Munich striker, did not want to end career with regrets.
All right. So yeah, he said, not one that he will not retire at 40 and now start regretting that he never moved or something.
Yeah.
But he moved and they lost 3-0. But that's it. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. So let's start with Tobi Amusan's news.
The World Athletics has denied the reports that Tobi Amusan has been cleared of doping and was now would enable her to defend her title in the forthcoming World Athletics Championship in Budapest, Hungary. And it goes on to say, please be advised, reports that say Tobi Amusan has been cleared to compete in Budapest are wrong. That's according to Nicole Jeffrey, World Athletics Head of Communications, in a statement.
All right. So like I said, her name was on the website. It's been listed on the website as those that are competing, but the AIU have not come out with a formal statement saying she's been cleared or not. They're saying that they're still investigating, and once the results of that investigation come out, then they would announce. So any other reports you've seen, just because her name was listed on the website, ignore it. Not real. We are all hopeful that she'll be cleared before the World Championships. We are all hopeful that she'll be cleared, even eventually, because 2 years is a long time for you to sit out, practicing your craft. But so far, formally, she hasn't been cleared. So any other reports you've seen, story for the gods.
We can't even afford Amusan right now out because we have one of the queens, Okagbari, is also out at this moment too. So so I'm just
what Okagbari was out or not, she was going to retire soon. So okay, that's different. Tobi Amusan is 26.
Yeah,
her career just started. Literally.
And the championships is due just barely.
Yes, it's at 28. Yeah. So you think about that. You also think about the Olympics next year, because if she's suspended, it's going to cover even the Olympic qualification and all of that. So there's a lot going on. So you just, we hope for the best for her, but so far she's not been cleared.
Okay.
Official statement now.
That takes us to the corner side or the ring side of Anthony Joshua just in time, as Anthony Joshua with a brutal knockout of Elenius. Former world champion Anthony Joshua needed just 7 rounds to stop stand-in opponent Robert Elenius in the seventh round of their heavyweight bout on Saturday.
What do you mean just 7 rounds? I thought he would do it in two. But look, not just me and everybody at this ringside, because they started booing him at some point. Yes, they're like, "What is this? What we came to see? Two guys tapping each other. My friend, punch each other. Let's see something." You know how people are. They paid good money to see
Yes.
blood, and people are just dancing around. What's happening here? But he didn't start off fast, and this is what I've said about Anthony Joshua. He used to be the guy that would get in the ring, and before you sat down, you don't need to eat popcorn. Just sit down. Fight was over. People were saying, "Oh, he needs to make it last longer. Heavyweight boxing is also entertainment." That's how he entertained. They beat him 2 times. He didn't need that. And I always said when he was going to come back, what he needed was not just a knockout, but a good knockout. So this knockout was a good knockout. Like the lights went off in the guy's house. It was Goshen. Sorry, it was there was light in Goshen. There was no light in Egypt. It was Egypt in the guy's house because that hook connected.
Yeah, I did.
However, it took a while for him to build up, and I understand, with sports, especially when you've lost to especially random people, you're going to be a little cautious. You're going to watch your step. The guy connected a few because Joshua was even bleeding. I was just like, AJ, why are you becoming common like this? Get there and knock somebody out, and that's what he needs to be doing. Don't think about entertaining. Don't take your time dancing around. Just get in the ring, and before we can blink, close the match. And so that's what he did. He closed the fight out in the seventh round. Good knockout. Could have done it earlier. Took a while, but let's see how it goes. Because as soon as he finished that, of course, the next question was, so what about Wilder?
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder. I was like, if this guy fights the way he fought against Hellenius, against Deontay Wilder,
As they say in the streets.
We'll be doing the post fight conference in the hospital. You cannot try this with Deontay Wilder. No. It was a poor build up.
You mean that's as they say in the streets, Joshua will collect?
No, he will not collect. He will not have anything to collect. He will be out. You cannot collect if you're unconscious. I'm just saying he needs to do. It was a good knockout. It was a good fight when it became a good fight, but in the earlier rounds, it was questionable, and he can't get into that ring hesitant, conservative, and cautious against Deontay Wilder.
It was boring, then it got interesting.
But it got interesting later, yeah. So let's see how he goes further, because a lot of people are calling for this fight, and Eddie Hearn is saying, "Oh, that we can make that happen in January." But let's see how it goes.
That takes us to Yannick Sinner and Jessica Pegula with titles in straight set victories. And Yannick Sinner and Jessica Pegula both cruised into straight set wins in the final of the Canadian Open. That's what we see here.
All right. So, like I said, the women were playing in Montreal. The guys were playing in Toronto. There was sunlight in Toronto, not much. It was funny weather in Montreal. And so that's why the women's one semi-final was played earlier in the morning, and then the final was played in the evening. And I think that's what took out Samsonova, because she had to defeat Elena Rybakina, former Wimbledon champion. Has had a great season so far. Played in the Australian Open finals, played in a couple of finals, and won a few this year. So it was always going to be a tough one to knock out Rybakina, and she did that eventually in the third set earlier in the morning. So that match alone took out a lot of energy, took out a lot of fuel from her tank, only for her to come back against a Jessica Pegula who was resting since the day before, because she finished her own semi-final earlier the day before. Of course, there was not much fuel left in the tank. It was not the best. I'm not saying Jessica Pegula couldn't have won, because remember, Jessica Pegula is the one that took out Tega world number 1. I'm not saying she couldn't have won. I'm just saying that Samsonova would have put on a better fight if she too had finished her own semi-final the day before. So it was not the best of performance in the final, but congratulations to Jessica Pegula. She'd been consistent. She did great for most of the week. Fought battles this week that she shouldn't have. Against Coco Gauff, Coco Gauff was this close to knocking her out. And then against Iga Swiatek, she also had to battle that, because Iga Swiatek was having a bad day. But because of the quality of player that Iga Swiatek is, it was hard to just defeat her. So she had fought some tough battles in the build up to the final. I guess she deserved an easier final. On the men's side, though, Yannick Sinner has been to two 1,000 Masters final, didn't win any. So when he got to this final and it was Alex de Minaur, he probably said, "Thank you, Lord." No Novak Djokovic, no Carlos Alcaraz, none of those other names. And it was a pretty good one. There were some long battles there, but at the end, Yannick Sinner got the job done in straight set. So congratulations to him. It's his first 1,000 Masters, and hopefully he can see a Grand Slam in his future. For Jessica Pegula, this is her second 1,000 Masters. So congratulations to her for keeping up the consistency.
It looks like a fine place to get the listener to come in with their messages onto the locker room on 0809 444 0981. WhatsApp messages only.
We start with Tayo.
Tayo says, congrats to AJ, but I'm not totally convinced about his performance. But I understood him when he said, "Let me breathe." So I will not suffocate him because I owe him that responsibility.
It's true. Because after the fight, he was like, "Why are people booing me? Allow me to take my time." No. Yeah. If you enter the ring with the other than taking your time, the fight will be over very quickly. And you'll not have some teeth. Okay. So you might as well.
Emeka Onelum comes in with this one. Emeka from Amuwo says, Anthony Joshua took all Nigerians' problems and frustration on his right hand and landed it on poor Elenius. Man didn't know what hit him. As for Mbappe, his relationship with PSG is like that girlfriend you want to end a relationship with, but you can't because she cooks the best jollof and egusi. Just end it so that we can breathe.
I'm telling you, this relationship, look, it's on and off. The day it's going to eventually end. I pity both parties. I pity PSG and I pity Kylian Mbappe. On that note, let's just quickly take a break. When we come back, we're taking your messages and we'll be talking about what happened in the Premier League.
We are Smooth 98.1. Stay tuned.
Keep listening to Smooth 98.1.
Oxygen.
This guy's message is that guy said because she cooks the best jollof rice.
Yes, it's true now.
That is the best. And why are they going for this let him breathe now? Are we sure this is not going to be the hashtag this morning?
But that's what he said. He was like, "Let me breathe." I was just like, I was taking his time. It was so boring in the shots. So again, you know that sports is a thing of the mind. So you could tell why he was hesitant. So he trained to fight somebody else and he's fighting somebody else. You understand? And you've been beaten before by random guys. We understand. But at least when you want to come back
with a bang.
Just end it. So I'm glad he got a knockout because if it was another
technical TKO, maybe judgment.
I would be so mad.
Enjoy offers from merchants worldwide, courtesy of Visa. Explore the world with complimentary hotel insurance.
Just let him breathe.
Premium airport lounges.
Like, let me do my thing. Which thing?
Well,
whether we beat you like TV, I can tell for free based on this fight.
Discounted rentals. And if you want to shop online, we've got offers for you.
I saw Copy was by the side there. She was. I said, don't go make Angulu. That's how you went to Man United and you were just going to spread it. Don't go there now. Now to go distract her.
Distract her?
Yes, now.
What does she want you to distract her? She's not playing music now. Have you seen AJ's spec?
Really?
No, Copy is his friend. But
okay. That's just race.
That's not the. Not Copy.
Back in about a minute.
Always, as you pursue your dreams to make life better and it go better after 3 days of working on tracker. Go to Doctor Nationalina Healthcare Limited.
To get messages soon.
I didn't see that.
This is Smooth Breakfast.
Smooth Breakfast.
The Smooth Breakfast Show. Every move you make, every syrup you breathe, every corner you take, every fighter you meet, every record you beat, we will be following you. Every single jump, every trophy won, every wicket you break, every breakaway you
Look at that guy's message.
every cross, every goal, every dunk, every pit stop, every loss, every victory, every single sport. We will be watching you.
The Locker Room on the Smooth Breakfast, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:15.
We will be following you.
We're Smooth 98.1 FM is still the locker room, and the Princess Tega is still here. Tega.
Yes, let's come back with some of your messages. So this one says, "Good day, all. Joshua should calm down, please. Oh, he only won against someone that took the fight in just 1 week. You should also know that if because he trained for somebody against a different person, or well, he trained to fight a different person, and then he fought another person. It was also tricky for him. So don't just assume that.
No, but Tega, see, do you need to pray to God if you are meeting somebody? You don't need to pray to God if you meet someone who you can beat now.
Yeah, but you know, every dog has his day.
Oh, that's true. So Goliath would have thought on that day too. That's true.
All right. So let's see this one from Real One. He says,
Agumbiade, Real One. Good morning, honorables. Newcastle not playing. Liverpool will concede goals for fun. Haaland will keep scoring. Maddison is in a good addition. It's a good addition to Spurs. I'm envious of Chelsea's midfield. Enzo Caicedo. I want my darling Man United to demolish Wolves tonight.
All right. On that note, that takes us into
this one.
very next
Jurgen
story.
Klopp.
Yeah.
Klopp takes positives from Liverpool's season opening draw at Chelsea. Manager Jurgen Klopp said he was encouraged by Liverpool's performance in the 1-1 Premier League draw at Chelsea on Sunday, despite his sides having had the advantage in the game.
Yeah. So when both teams came out, the question was, what Liverpool were we going to see this season, number one, and number two, can anything good come out of Chelsea despite the 1 billion spent? Because they spent so much money and they brought out the names. You're just like, these guys look pretty ordinary for 1 billion. But they got on the field of play and they played their hearts out. The one thing I can say about Chelsea, is that the team is completely different from the one you saw last season. They're going to play good football this season. I'm a little worried though, because the Chelsea side, I know those successful Chelsea sides I've always known, have always had, that out and out striker. I'm not talking forwards now, like people say in modern football, out and out striker. So if you're thinking Crespo, Didier Drogba, Fernando Torres, even if some of them did struggle in Chelsea jersey, but at least they knew how to hold a ball. You had that out and out striker. Not so this time. And the goals could pretty much come from anywhere. So it was an impressive Chelsea side to see, but that link was missing, and they have a formidable midfield. And we're hearing that they've great terms with Caicedo, not just Caicedo, but also Lavia. So there's going to be a lot of competition for that Chelsea midfield. Who is going to play, who is going to sit on the bench. But for Liverpool, especially with the loss of all the experienced players, Henderson, Milner, Fabinho, the question was who was going to hold for them. And Liverpool's midfield seems a little porous. They have a little front attack. They have pretty much good defense, especially with, oh goodness, how could I forget his name? Konate. Not Virgil van Dijk. The brilliant guy in that defense, the guy that's doing most of the work in that defense is Konate. But that midfield seems to be lacking a little still. Now, McAllister did a great job yesterday. You could see him kind of everywhere, but that solidity in midfield that day, you'd expect with a Fabinho. Still, maybe it's early season yet, but it's still not there. So two impressive sides that came out. I think Liverpool had done enough at some point to try and get the game. They also got a second goal, which was cancelled, would have stood if the new offside rule were in place. And then Chelsea also had their moments of brilliance. So it was two good sides just trying to put their best foot forward. Ended up in a draw. Deserved on both ends. So yes, if I were Jurgen Klopp, I'd be happier, because pre-season I wasn't pretty much convinced about what Liverpool was doing. But after what I saw yesterday, yeah, maybe there's some hope for them if the team can build together.
They're no pushover. That's what you.
There's bottom line. There'll be good oppositions to come against.
And that takes us to Australia's Australian Prime Minister backs calls for public holiday if Matildas win World Cup. That's Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Monday back calls for a public holiday if its team win the Women's World Cup.
All right. So, like the Women's World Cup has been crazy. Every number you think of, they've shattered it. And attendance was crazy.
Saturday was insane.
But that penalty shootout. Now that is how you lose a penalty shootout. Please, it's not that you will go there. Anyway, Tega, don't go back. Let's go forward. But that's not how you take it. You see the penalties that they took that on the day. They finished their first 5. Goalkeeper took her own, missed, but she saved 3 penalties. That's how you take penalties. When they beat you in penalties, then they know that today we beat somebody. Now France is squaring up against Australia. It comes down. I was saying France needed to win that in the 120 minutes that they played because I when it got again, penalties are like lotteries. It can enter, it may not enter. So but both goalkeepers still put their best foot forward, and even the way they set up their penalties, their penalty takers, the way it was, they put somebody that they were not so convinced about. The second person was somebody that they were sure would put the ball in the back of the net, and that's how they were able to stay in the fight. So brilliant penalties taken. Unfortunately for France, again they crash out in the quarterfinals. But for Australia, they've moved on to the semis, and they are ready for whatever.
And the day, France surprised me because they had to pull out a goalkeeper, and they knew this second goalkeeper was good.
Yeah,
was a penalty keeper.
See, look, at the end of it, you just, again, as much as they gamble, as much as the lotteries, just put your best foot forward. Which is why I cannot take the excuse that it's penalty that will. If we arranged our penalties well, we could have been in that fight. And I heard some of the girls were watching and watching England against Colombia, and she was like, we could have taken this fool. That's what I said. That's what I said. You could have taken this. What did you do? You didn't.
No, but honestly, if they were going to say show working for your pay, and this case of equal pay is being made with what I've seen so far, I think it makes a good case.
Please, and of course, $90,000 is better than $60,000 every day of the week and twice on Sunday, regardless of which country you come from. And so Australia has done the job; they've gone far. They're going to face England next in the semi-finals, and in the other semi-final that's the one that I would really love is the trickery, the skills, the magic of Spain against the rigidity, the pragmatism of Sweden. So let's see how both sides cancel each other. It will be interesting to watch. But should Australia win a World Cup that they are hosting, shut down. Shut down. This one is saying there should be public holiday. There'll be 2. There'll be one for party, one to recover from the party.
I don't know. Neighboring New Zealand would also thank Australia for saving their blotches at the end of the day.
Well, Australia saved Australia's blushes. New Zealand did whatever with whatever. All right, let's go to the next story.
Let's see. This next one, Harry. Let's see. This next one is Eric Ten Hag says defender must prove he's top class or leave Man United.
All right, you just want him to go. Just say Maguire. Go. Don't need to put him under pressure. You can't give what you don't have. The guy has been there for seasons. You've not seen what you want. Allow him to go. Don't making it look as if like if his performance in training is great, then he has the opportunity to stay. No, he doesn't have the opportunity to stay. From last season, when you started benching him, his agent should have been looking for another club. Then this season starts and you take away the captain armband from him. What is he still doing there? The truth of the matter is Manchester United want him gone. His leaving will solve a lot of problems for Eric Ten Hag and the fans. So all this talk he's doing on the backside is unnecessary. However, Manchester United start their own Premier League campaign tonight against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Will that be a tough one? I don't think so. On paper, Wolverhampton Wanderers have all the problems. They fired their coach just before the start of the season, haven't bought enough players, do not have the money to compete. Manchester, on the other hand, some Manchester United fans may be angry about the deals that were done in the transfer market and some deals that were not concluded in the transfer market, but they are still a better team than Wolverhampton Wanderers. So this should be 3 points. But in APL, anything can happen. Referee decision can be part of it.
We're going to see more of those dramas.
Yes, more of the drama. What you do on the day could also be a part of it. So let's see how Manchester United start their season. So far, Arsenal has been Arsenal. They will score, but they'll also concede. Manchester City has been Manchester City. They will beat you without Messi.
And that guy laced up his boot already, looking good already.
Erling Haaland already with a brace. So trust me, this season is 40 goals. And then Chelsea and Liverpool have shown their intent. So let's see what Manchester United have to say for themselves.
But that also leaves us with our final story. Harry Kane, Bayern Munich striker, did not want to end career with regrets.
Like I said earlier, he said, I mean, think about it. He scored all these goals. Was I think 40 something goals away from beating Alan Shearer's record, but no trophies to show for it. So yes, if you are as a footballer, at the end of the day, as much as you enjoy the game, as much as you want to make money, sometimes you also want to get those trophies that you can look at your cabinet and say, I remember the day we won this. And he doesn't have that. And I know those things would have come into his decision making when it came to whether he should move to Bayern or stay in England. And yeah, if he doesn't want to regret it, I think he has to take some chances. He's taking a chance. He went to Bayern Munich. They didn't start very well. Lost the Super Cup to Leipzig, 3-0. And he did come on in that game. And he didn't score. So not a brilliant start, but he can look forward to a good season and see how they build up through it. Thomas Tuchel, though, I question the fact that he'll stay till the end of the season because I saw that Bayern Munich side. What I knew about Bayern Munich side was where they were solid in defense. They had a fluid midfield and they had midfield strikers. On the day, they just looked toothless. They were running around with the ball, but they were doing nothing with it. And that comes down to Thomas Tuchel's desk. So I'm waiting to see how he survives this season because Bayern Munich cannot afford to be average. They will fire him very quickly.
What I even admired more was the statement Harry Kane gave. He released after he had completed his signing with Bayern, and he said,
"Everybody says they try to make the fans feel good. They'll be all right." All right, so let's take some of the messages to round up. Okay, everyone, no, Japan is not at the World Cup. They were knocked out by Sweden. So the 4 teams left at the World Cup: Spain, Sweden, Australia, England. He also says Enzo Fernandez is the closest thing we had to Fabregas. CSC has closed the deal on Caicedo and close to signing Lavia. We just want to disgrace Liverpool all through the week, Sha. No, you are saving your blushes. You're not disgracing Liverpool because Liverpool was actually hijacking your plan. So if they hijacked it, you'd be embarrassed. But now you've saved your blushes. Let's go to that was on YouTube. Let's go to WhatsApp and see this message.
Tayo is here with this one quickly. Tayo says Mbappe as a football director of PSG as his calling number. So it's Saudi money and Neymar. Here we go. I guess he can go and earn big money and return for the next World Cup, and that's it. I feel that Chelsea-Liverpool match was evenly matched. I think they should build a statue of Caicedo pulling a reverse card on Liverpool. If I sign you for 115 million, you will not leave the club till you are 60 years because after dropping your boot, you will continue with match analysis.
Tayo. On that note, we round up the locker room. Hopefully, when we come back on Wednesday, Manchester United would have done a thing. And then we'll also talk about the Super Cup that's going to be happening. So let's see how it goes. But before then, let me remind you, the Tigers are playing the pre-Olympic qualifiers, and they're playing at the Eco Hotel, so just down the corner. So if you can catch us, it's not a quick long break. Their game is at 6 p.m. So maybe instead of going home, there's no traffic these days. Just buy your ticket. It's not expensive, about 2K. Go and watch the Tigers. The Tigers, the men. Play to try and qualify for the Olympics next year. Just 2,000 naira. It's not expensive. Go and support your nation. All right. On that note, we round up on the locker room. Till we see you again on Wednesday. It's bye from me.
And I say thank you to Tega Onojiafe, the princess. I should be back here on Wednesday. My name is Omatseye.